Hello my wonderful friends, Megas with you, and today we're doing Intuition and Psychic Ability Part 3. A little caveat at the beginning. When I first started operating in this gift, I actually asked God to take it away from me. It was too much. I was having visions of people's death, and then the next day it would happen, of an accident, and the next day it would happen. And it was like a nightmare playing in my mind, and I did not like it, and I didn't want it. I didn't know how to change it. But what I learned is you can change the future. The future is not set in stone. So as you see these visions, use it as an opportunity to help these people, to get them into the good mind, and then create out of that good mind, because what we hold in our mind is what we create in our world. So those people were holding wrong in their mind, the evil spirit in their mind, evil attributes in their mind, they're creating out of that. If you can change their mind, you can change that outcome. I've done it many times. You can use these gifts for healing, getting into people's subconscious mind and changing the very outcome and form around them. I'm going to give you a few short stories, and then we'll get into the teaching. I've used it for healing. I've seen just about every kind of healing you can imagine. The ones most recently, blood pressure off the charts, and the person was on medication. We did hypnosis. We brought their blood pressure down to normal. My dad, he cut his finger off, and his pain level was at a 10. I did a hypnosis session with him and brought it down to 0, no pain. Guy working around the property here, he couldn't breathe. It was getting worse every day. Couldn't do his job around here. He was almost gasping for air, and did a hypnosis session with him. Got where he could breathe in 1, 2, 3, 4, like we do in our meditations. Release 1, 2, 3, full deep breaths in a 30-minute session. By repetition, we can get into that subconscious mind and create out of that. As I've taught you before, there's a mind inside of us that tells our heart how many times to beat. That when we eat food, sends the nutrition to create form where we need it, grows our hair without thinking about it. If you cut yourself, that mind heals it. It's a miracle. We can work out of that mind. I use it, it's kind of funny, like if someone around the property, this has happened, they lose something on the property, and I can just quiet my mind and then tell them where it's at, and they go and find it, and there it is, which is funny for me because I'm the kind of person that can have my glasses on my face and not realize where they are, asking where's my sunglasses at, and they're on my face because, you know, in the natural, my mind's maybe thinking this and this, but if I can quiet myself, go to that still place, use that God mind in us, anything is possible. And many of you that follow me, you've heard all the different stories and miracles and magic that I've told over the last 120 videos, so I'm not going to go through them all. But the point is, anything is possible when you're in the God mind. There are two minds. There's a good mind and there's the evil mind. Whichever one you create out of is what you're going to create. As Zoroastrian Christ followers, we want to create Asha, heaven on earth, in our world. By that, we must be in the good mind. And so that's what I want to work on today. Then I'm going to give you some fun exercises that you can do to start developing more and more your psychic abilities. I hope you've been practicing the one on part 1 with the cards. And if you haven't seen those, please go back, watch 1 and 2. And we're going to keep building this because it is steps. It's like if you want to take up an instrument, say you want to play the guitar, you're not going to be the world's greatest guitar player the very first day. You have to have an understanding of music and of chords, and it takes time. And it's the same with our gifting. It's all ever expanding good. We're always growing. We're always expanding to better and better. And so just enjoy the ride. Have fun with it. Don't torture yourself. Make it a good time. Make it fun. And stay positive. And most importantly, always stay in the good mind. So what we're going to work on today is imagination. It's powerful what we hold in our minds. a couple examples that I've been working with, and I told you as I start doing more and more, I'll share more as I open up new areas. But something I've been doing is putting my thoughts into other people's minds and then having them speak it back to me. And a couple of fun examples. I have 5 favorite books that I take everywhere with me. I love these books. And I wrote a book called Still Pools of the Mind by Winston Head. And I thought, how cool would it be if someone thought my book Still Pools was one of their top 5 favorite books. So during my meditation, I was just picturing them saying that and how it would make me feel. And I was imagining then telling others, oh yeah, I did this, and I was picturing it and feeling it, and then they said it back to me, and just went through the whole thing. And anyway, that day I got a message from someone that said those exact words back to me. Yours is one of my 5 favorite books. Okay, now I'm getting excited because I'm thinking, that's amazing. That is really cool. So I want to do it more. So I said this time in my meditation, I'm going to do the number 1 favorite book of all time, that someone's going to tell me that. So I did the same thing, me hearing it, them say it, how it makes me feel, and then telling others, kind of like I'm doing with you right now, telling you the story. And, you know, and I just saw the whole thing so clearly. And then it happened. I got a message, that is my number 1 all-time favorite book. So then I wanted to try it with when I go to town. I live out in the woods, and I wanted someone to recognize me as the Magus and come up and say, I enjoy your videos. And so I went to town, and sure enough, it happened. Someone walks up to me, and the exact thing, the way I played it out in my mind, works. And so what it is all is mind. Now, I don't want you to get weirded out by that, because it's good. If you're in the good mind, in the God mind, it's a good thing. And if you're resonating good, and in resonance with good, that's what you're going to attract to you. And I've done a whole video on this, so I won't get too far into it. But if you go out and you have a smile on your face and you're in love and kindness, you attract others to you. If you go out in fear, you attract scary people around you. If you go out angry, you think to yourself, why is everyone out here so angry and mean? It's what you're holding is what you're creating in your world. Now I want to share a couple more stories that are very important before I get to some of the exercises I'm going to have you do. But there's a psychologist, and he was telling of the story of a young girl he had come into his office, and she couldn't speak right. She didn't act right. Something was off about her, and her parents were very worried about her, and she wasn't getting along well at school or with others or at home. Just they needed help. And so he spent a little time with her, and come to find out that from the time she came into the home when she was adopted, the mother was speaking over her, something's wrong with this child, something's wrong with this girl. And she heard it, and she was acting out of what she heard and what she believed. What you speak becomes your children's inner voice. They will become what you speak over them. I'll get more into that. So the psychologist, being very wise, he had her start doing affirmations in his office. I am perfectly normal. I am perfectly normal. I am perfectly normal. Within 24 hours, she was perfectly normal. She spoke perfect. She acted perfect. Everything was absolutely normal. And the parents thought, this is the greatest psychologist ever. What he did was rewired her brain. A good example of that is with my own children. With my daughter, since she was just a tiny child, 3, 4, I was calling her doctor. My son, businessman. And to this day, my daughter is in medical school, and my son is a great salesman. And what you speak into them, they believe positive or negative. And so it's so important what you speak into your children, what you speak into your spouse, what you speak into those around you, what you speak into your environment, and most importantly, self-talk. You're always having a dialogue with yourself. What are you saying to yourself? You will never love anyone else more than you love yourself. So it's so important that every day, take a moment to remind yourself, I love you. I forgive you for past mistakes. and see and speak the good that you like about yourself into yourself. And I know at first it might be a little uncomfortable. It might seem a little strange. You might think, I'm just not going to do that exercise. That's one of the most important exercises I give, and that's why I give it repeatedly, because that is the first step to working in good magic, believe it or not. So I'm going to ask you, first exercise, you go to the mirror, you look yourself in the eyes until you can see that God life inside of you and say, I love you, and tell yourself why you love yourself. Second exercise, speaking over your children life and not death. If they hear you talking to friends or family that kid's just a hellion, he's a mess, he's trouble, he will be that. He will believe that and act that out. If you speak life over them, he's the greatest kid ever, he's a blessing, he brings peace and joy to my life, he will be that. Speak truth over him. Speak truth over your spouse. That don't speak negative. Speak that this is a dream come true. You're the one I always wanted. You make my life complete and fulfilled. And start speaking that, and they hear that, they will be that. It is real magic. It will happen every single time if you do it and believe it. And that's the thing. You have to believe it. You have to create out of faith. Okay? If you hold faith, you will manifest faith. If you hold doubt, you will manifest the doubt. If you are worried, you are praying for the worst outcome. We must know only good, know only God, know only love, peace, truth, joy, kindness. No matter what's going on around us, we hold to our true nature, and that's what we will create. A fun little exercise I want you guys to try. In your meditation, something that you can reason and truly believe someone saying to you. So picture someone coming up to you, and like I did with my books, number 5 favorite book, something that you can reason that someone could truly say this, because you have to believe it, and then you can build, as you go, and we'll get into that. We got more sessions coming, but do that and see them saying something to you want to hear, and what you say back to them, and how it makes you feel, and hold that, and then watch it happen. All right, guys, I love you so much. God bless you, and we'll see you tomorrow.